So we got it. Okay, it says preparing. It still says preparing.
I wonder if I could do my podcast live.
You could. You could totally
Never
do it.
even thought about it. It's such a good idea because I don't really edit the video ones. When I was doing them in a studio, I did, but I'm not really doing it so much.
Okay. Hold on, I gotta do some copy paste.
I'm liking this dress that you have on in your 5 Days of Focus picture.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I love that dress.
I couldn't tell you where it is right now.
Somewhere in the apartment.
Your Facebook, is it all one word? There it is. There it is. There it is. I got it.
It's probably my like married name too on there.
And boom. Quit talking. Leadership skills. Go live. Okay, here we go.
That's so cool.
Okay.
Oh my God, it says it. Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
This is where we just smile pretty and just wait for it.
What are we waiting for? What do we look? What do we look at?
Okay, so then we go to the 5 Days of Focus, and you should see us. And
Is now streaming live on Facebook. Oh,
what are we waiting for?
this is so cool.
Right? You like see yourself in real time.
And I'm looking down. Okay, cool.
So for everyone that's tuning into the replay, if you're tuning into the replay, fast forward through the first 5 minutes because this is just us getting our tech together. So managing expectations.
I feel like we're pretty together. I had my other things and those didn't work, but this will do. Part of the look.
It going. Well done. Hey Monica. Hey Maggie. So my team is on, and they have been crushing it. So proud of my team.
I don't know if I've met them, Monica. Have I met her?
No, not in real life. I don't think because we haven't had any
in real life
live events. But like, she's definitely, she's magical behind the scenes, making it
happen. We all need those people.
Yeah, because I'm not allowed to touch the calendar.
Yeah. I know, she was so efficient with the planning. I was like, look at you go.
Go, Monica, go. You hear that shout out? Go, Monica.
That's super cool. So do I share this video with friends or just after?
After. Mm-hmm.
After.
Yeah.
It's so cool. This is literally my first time doing anything live.
Well, welcome.
Aside from in person, but like on video.
Well, welcome. You look great. You look great. Your lighting's great.
Much.
I like the blush that's going on. I am a wearer of a minimum of 4 blushes on any given time.
You look great. You got the highlighter.
I got the highlighter. I got the contour. Like, I think I recently got like blush.
You have the whitest teeth ever. I think the dark lips.
My lipstick has a blue tint to it, which makes your teeth look white.
Look at you. You could do a whole, maybe that's our next one. We do like
the whole beauty thing. Yeah.
Master class. They got Bobbi Brown. She's got nothing on you.
Well, it's really interesting the things that you like stumble into where like, yeah, if I wear a red lipstick with a blue hue, it makes my teeth look really white.
I got to Google this stuff. Mine's like blends in. I'm all just kind of matte, one color.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the blush stuff was like maybe in the last 2 years. I think as a kid, I always had like the chubby cheeks. And I think the last time someone squeezed my cheeks, I was probably like 37. And
so 3 years ago, because I know you just turned 40.
Ago, yeah, and it was like, why are you touching my face? And I used to be like so self-conscious about these, my high cheekbones.
I have no clue. You have the most beautiful face. I have no clue what you're talking about. I just see cheekbones.
It's just a lot of blush now because I just love them. Now I'm like into my cheeks. So like,
part of getting older as a woman, right? We just embrace all of ourselves.
That you were self-conscious about. Now I'm like here for it. Like,
yes,
yeah, like. Put some more blush on. You can count on me to wear too much blush.
Well, you look great.
I saw, I conquered, I wore far too much blush.
I think you look beautiful.
Thank you, Shauna. Oh,
Beautiful.
it's 3 p.m., top of the hour. Look alive, everyone. Look alive. So, I am Keita Williams. I am the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice. So, we are professional butt kickers and we focus on working with high performing type A women who are looking to take their great to greater. So, you got it going on. You're
I'm
98%.
going wherever you're going. If we're going greater, I'm in.
Yes, 98% there. You need that 2% for your competitive edge. That's who we like to work with. And we do that through one-on-one coaching, group programs, and of course, we have our 5 days of focus challenge. We have another challenge coming up, and that is October 12th. So join us for 5 days of transformation where we walk you through our goal setting process to help you set up so that you can finish 2020 strong. One of the things that I yell from the mountaintops is that it takes 33 to 66 days to develop a new habit and 90 days before you see results. So you're always working 90 days into the future. So if you think about it, the next time we have our 5 days of focus challenge in October, we're going to be about 90 days out from 2021. And so
Mm.
rather than wait till your New Year's resolution to get started on taking over 2021, start with us in October so that you are already in motion, already in momentum, so that you can make the best of the rest of this year and you can really start powerfully for next year. So if your first name begins with the letters A through K, Monica is your personal concierge, and Monica will be walking you through the process, helping you get everything that you need to prepare for the 5 days of focus challenge. If your first name begins with the letters L through Z, Maggie is your concierge. I have to say it like that. Like tickle my
All right, we're going to go later to Target.
Target, your concierge. And reach out to Maggie. Look for friend requests from us. Look for messages. We want to help you get onboarded so that you can get the most out of the challenge in October. You can register. It's important that you register so you get your workbook in time. And you can do that via successbully.com/challenge. Wow, I'm out of breath. I just.
I'll give you a minute to catch your breath and just say that the timing of this could not be better because we're actually just beginning a new year in the Jewish New Year. We just had Rosh
Okay.
Hashanah, so we get to start early. So I'm ready for my challenge. I'm in.
You're in. Sign
I don't
up.
even know what year it is. It's some sort of 5,000 something, something, seven something.
Well,
But
Sean is
yeah,
in. Sean is in. Let's start it.
I'm in for the
Okay.
challenge.
You're up for it. So I'm going to
Yes.
give a little background to everyone because, like, and Shauna and I have known each other for years, and she's always been such an amazing, like a sparkler, like in the room, she's always sparkly, just like amazing magnetic personality, but also really passionately cares about supporting other women and supporting other women in business. And so, like, she's definitely been a mentor to me as I've stretched and grown, and it's kind of pushed me to think bigger. How I want to build things. And I've always admired the way that she's built her business and where she's going. So I am blessed to be in her sphere of influence, and I'm blessed to have her on this live show. So here's her bio. I'm going to give you the abbreviated
We're
version because
hashtag blessed.
hashtag blessed. She is amazing. So Shauna founded Fuel Talent, which is a boutique recruiting firm that is Seattle based, in 2013. She's been in the industry for nearly 26 years and is considered a thought leader in recruiting. So if you have recruiting questions, if you're job hunting, this is the person to follow, watch, all of that. Prior to Fuel, she spent 2 decades living in San Francisco and New York, and she's opened 8 offices, hired, trained, and managed over 100 recruiters, and all while building these lasting relationships. Like, if you want to see a LinkedIn that is perfection, you need to go to Shauna's LinkedIn. If you're stuck on your
Should we get
LinkedIn,
some red wine? Maybe we should get some red wine
yeah,
for this part.
cheers. Like, go to Shauna's, right, and look at the company LinkedIn. It's like that. It is social media gold. And so when she returned to Seattle, she realized that there was a market need for high touch, one stop shopping that could service all types of recruiting needs. And so Fuel Talent is one of the fastest growing companies in the Washington state area, one of the largest women owned companies. And it has been ranked as one of the best places to work in Washington for the last 5 years, for 5 years straight. That's 5 years straight. That's so you're building something very, very special when people like nominate you for awards. And as I understand it, you have a low attrition rate. So your employees come to work with you and they stay. So that's very, very exciting. And besides like being a badass women owned business, female founder, Madam CEO, Shauna is actively engaged in our local community, and she puts her energy behind organizations that she's passionate about. She has a lovely family who, like, again, if you want to see Instagram
I
goals.
put them on mute. They're in the background on mute with the dog.
Hi, family. So thank you so much for coming, Shauna. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your magic far and wide. I appreciate you in so many different ways. So my first
Thank you.
question for
Well,
you.
thank you, but hold that,
Time out.
because
Wait, I'm going for it.
this is your moment, and you're the host.
Uh,
But I just want to tell you, Kita, that back at you, talk about a spark plug, whatever we want to call it. You inspire me and all the other people in our community, women, men, everybody who gets a chance to know you. You're a rock star, and I love following you also. So thank you for having me on and for those kind words. I'm feeling
my
emotional.
pleasure.
That's
Yeah,
really
my
sweet.
pleasure. Let's not get emotional because these are magnetic eyelashes.
No,
We've
they're
already
not.
had an incident on live where my eyelash fell off. So
All
let's
right, well,
not
we won't
cry.
cry. At the very end, after we're live, we can cry
We can cry
together.
after.
I'll hold you like a baby.
Yeah, like, okay, so I think that you have like this fascinating backstory and career arc. So how did you find your way to recruiting, and then when did you strike out on your own?
Yeah. So I started recruiting, as you mentioned, 26 years ago. I'm 48, so I was like 22 years old. I had
Damn.
moved to San Francisco with a girlfriend of mine from college. And I was working retail because I thought I wanted to go into the fashion industry, and that was kind of my entree. And I met a recruiter who was a customer and who said, you should come interview with me. You'd be a great recruiter. And at that time, nobody even knew what that was. We had no LinkedIn. There was no internet, just to give you some perspective. And I was basically like hired to kind of dial for dollars and call companies and see what types of talent they needed to hire. And they were hiring me for my little black book, even though I didn't know anybody in San Francisco. My job was to meet the community, get them introduced into companies. And it was like 100% commission. So I worked at night and on the weekends at Banana Republic
Okay.
so that I could afford to do it. And it just, it stuck. It was the perfect blend of understanding business, but also helping people,
Mhm.
because I was kind of maybe going to be a social worker, but also really loved business. So it's been the perfect career for me.
Okay. And so at what point were you like, I can do this better myself?
Well, what's interesting is that I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And so when I started out in the industry, I worked for about a year and a half before I got recruited by a company out of Los Angeles who wanted me to open up a San Francisco office for them. And I said to them, I would love to open up this office, but I also have always wanted to live in New York. So they're like, well, open up this office, do a great job. Let's see how it goes. And if it goes well, you can expand our business for us. And I just quickly turned into a player coach. So I was a
Okay.
recruiter, but I was also responsible for finding the office space and hiring the teams and
Mhm.
developing and managing and mentoring. So pretty early on, I realized I could do this for myself, but I felt intimidated by what I didn't know. I felt
Mhm.
intimidated by, what if I get sued, or what if I don't understand how to read a P&L? Or I also wasn't sure which city I wanted to be in, because I'm a Seattle girl at heart.
Mhm.
Like, I was born and raised here, but I was working in different markets. So as you mentioned in your intro, I'd opened up 8 offices over time: San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Los Angeles, New York, Greenwich, Connecticut, kind of everywhere. So I felt like I had everything that it took to start my own company. It just wasn't my own capital.
Mhm.
And so once I could figure out which city I wanted to be in, and also I was having babies along the way.
Right.
So I
Right.
had 3 kids, and it all felt like timing. But
Mhm.
I've always known that I had the entrepreneurial bug and that I wanted to have my own company.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
so when you look back over your career, when did you know it was time to make those critical moves? When were you like, how did you evaluate your next move as you were kind of, opening up offices and the entrepreneurial bug was really starting to take hold? When did you know it was time to kind of make those moves? What was your rubric? A lot of hand
Well,
gestures. Okay.
I've worked for really 3 companies over the course of my entire career. One for 8 years, another one for 8 years, and then my own company for almost 8 years. So it's
Mhm.
really been, I'm loyal, and it takes a lot for me to want to leave. My first company was really, I left after 9/11. I just
Mhm.
kind of emotionally detached. We handled we handled it differently, and I knew that I wasn't probably going to be there for the long haul. And so at
Mhm.
that point, I was potentially going to move to Seattle, leave New York, and I met the CEO of another company who hired me to work in his New York office and then eventually, hopefully, open up a West Coast office for him. I thought that would be for like a year. It ended up being 8 more years. And the reason why I joined that company was their technology. They had incredible technology, and they were really cutting edge as far as our industry goes. They probably could have been the next LinkedIn. They were early in the connecting on through email, which sounds really antiquated at this point, but that was a big deal back then. And then as far as starting my own company, it was because I was back home. I moved home after the market crashed in 2009. And when I got here, really realized there was a tremendous gap in the Seattle market. And there was no one that was kind of high touch, boutique, women owned, servicing all the different practice areas under one roof. We do tech, marketing, product, admin, HR. There are companies that were just specialized, and I wanted to kind of be the one-stop shop for companies that they could come to get great service and great talent.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So then, what were some of your biggest lessons, like now that you, as an entrepreneur, what are some of your biggest lessons that you learned along the way, kind of starting and growing? What are like if you had to give someone a handbook, what would be the first lesson in the handbook?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind would be around the comment that I made around fear of not understanding a P&L or not understanding what to do if I were to get sued. You kind of realize if you surround yourself with really smart people, and you have the ability to let go and let them do their job and trust that you're strong where you're strong. Like I've got a lane and I stay in it.
Yep.
Like you were saying, like don't let anybody else, you're not doing your own calendar because you might mess it up, but you're a ninja at what you are doing. And so I would say that the lesson was probably to not fear the stuff that I didn't know, because I'm still not strong at the areas where I wasn't strong before. And that's okay. But I have an incredible team around me. And then I've outsourced some of the other services. Like we work with a great law firm, a great accounting firm. And I've got some incredible people in my life that I depend on to kind of be a backstop to make sure that I'm not going off the rails in some way.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and I do think
but the second thing is that this one's in line with that, is that it's an incredible experience to build a culture and to be able to create a company that feels like the kind of company that you would want to work at. I had no idea how much fun that would be. I was always the culture person at my last 2 companies. I was the person who had great teams, great tenure on those teams. I was able to mentor and develop people really well, but I didn't know how much fun it would be to create a brand like you were talking about. Like your Successfully brand is like, it's Kita, Successfully is kind of one and the same, and it aligns. And that's how I feel with the company. So that's been incredibly rewarding for me.
Yeah, and I think that is such a great note for our group here, is that like that fear can be paralyzing when you're starting something new, whether that is a company or you're pursuing a personal or professional goal. Like you don't have to have all the answers at one time.
Totally.
You do
Totally.
not.
And I'm still figuring it out, right?
Well, I feel like there's every time we hit a new level, there's some new anxiety with that new level.
For sure. But that's what helps you grow, and it helps you stay fresh. I mean, yeah.
So
all of it. Yeah.
All of it. And even the idea of like, there are people relying on me now.
Yeah. That part, especially like, when COVID hit this year, just feeling like I got to keep this thing going, not just for me and my family, but for all of these people who have been so loyal and so hardworking for Fuel. I got to make sure that we can continue to thrive and continue to keep them, even with their mental health and their physical health, safe. Like that felt like an opportunity. It doesn't feel like a burden for me. It feels like an opportunity. I'm kind of the mama bear of the team. I love that part.
I've been super excited about that, like development of other, watching my team evolve and grow. And like my grandfather used to say this thing to me that I was like 6, so I didn't quite understand it, but like I totally understand it now, that like operate in excellence and people will meet you there. And it was always this like hand
I like
gesture.
that. Go grandpa.
And so like I totally get it, that like I'm a better person, and I feel like I'm a better leader, and I'm becoming a better
everything.
mogul.
Yeah,
because of my team.
yeah,
They hold me accountable.
part of the culture part has not been top down from me. Like we
Hmm.
sat and we created our values as a team. There are people who come to me with ideas of things that we can do to have outings, or we do a lot of volunteer work together. We rotate through who chooses where we're going to volunteer, and that person kind of owns that whole event and that whole outing that we do. Or someone on my team came up with an idea that we would do monthly goals, and they've been incredible, from diversity and inclusion to focus to
Hmm.
efficiency. Every month is a new goal. And these are all things that help enrich the culture, but they're not ideas coming from me. They're
Hmm.
just me moving out of the way and saying to people, come with ideas. 99% of the time they'll happen.
Hmm.
Has created also an opportunity for people to feel like they're not going to mess up at the company. They're just going to hopefully grow and hopefully add value to the company.
That's amazing. Because I know
Yeah.
we were talking before we went live about that intentionality. That when you're building an amazing company culture, there's no mystery that you won best places to work 5 years in a row. It's been very intentional from you from the moment you opened until now. So how has that evolved with COVID, with the team being remote and in different places? How have you been able to maintain that culture with, not seeing everyone every day?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it's been a lot of kind of raw vulnerability from me. Lots of communication, lots of touch points. We really do a once a week meeting. So it's not that we're talking constantly, but when we do meet, I try to be very mindful around focus in that meeting. So we start it with like a 1 minute of meditation. We talk about a word that expresses kind of our emotion and how we're feeling that week. And sometimes we might even reconnect at the end of the week and be like, how, where are you trying to go?
Hmm.
And most of the time during COVID, I was feeling very powerful and really strong. I was finding a lot of strength from it,
Hmm.
mostly because I was just choosing to focus on, you and I have talked about this, just choosing really to focus on the gratitude of the
Yeah.
fact that we can have a roof over our head, the fact that we can make money sitting from a computer.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of people who have to be on the front lines. And so just reminding each other. And some days it's one person who's strong and we kind of really express it. We express really how we're feeling. I've given them mental health days off. I've given them ideas around, getting up and moving and
Hmm.
exercising. The first part of this, it was really clear that we wouldn't be reaching out to companies around like biz dev or kind of figuring out how we could potentially partner with them. It was very much figuring out how we can serve and how we can be helpful, because there were a lot of people that were displaced, that were laid off. We were doing volunteer hours of resume building. And so there was a lot of kind of things that felt good to the
Hmm.
team. And they were trying to put on hold like the money making part.
Right.
And so we were talking a lot about that, and it's kind of the holistic approach to the employees. I'm not just like, hey, let's talk about which companies you're going to call. It's also thinking about how you can feel balanced and how you can recharge. And we have a book club, and we share book ideas and TV shows and podcasts, and we're constantly in kind of bettering ourselves and growth mindset. And it's,
Hmm.
last week with the smoke, I was kind of freaking out. Like I did not, I did not like it. I felt claustrophobic. I have asthma. I was nervous.
Hmm.
And for the first week, I was like, hey guys, like I may need help this week. Like I may need you now. And so it's very
Oh.
much that type of culture where we lift each other up and we're okay being vulnerable and weak. So yeah, I think we haven't lost anybody, knock wood. Who knows? I mean, we hope we don't. Things are actually feeling really good as far as revenue. We're only down just a very small percent, and I feel really lucky for that. But we're trying to have the same mentality and headspace around giving back
Hmm.
and creating more space for that, because we don't know what's going to happen in the economy. So it's like, hey, double down right now on really good giving back behavior, because it'll pay dividends,
Oh yeah.
6 months from now, a year from now.
Yes. Like not knowing, who'd have thought in March that we'd still be talking about the impacts of COVID-19 in September and beyond,
Hmm.
and all the things that 2020 has shown us. Even like the smoke, I was like, what else 2020?
Right, exactly. Are you kidding? Yeah, it's like, really? I
Like,
know.
so now back to lockdown. But that's
Yeah.
amazing that that you're holding that space and that you are being vulnerable and like understanding that we are all human beings, and being delightfully human, we have a range of emotions. And I feel that that this is, I don't think we're ever going to experience this again in our adult lives. Like
Right.
what
But
20.
the good part of it, and I know that you feel this too, because we've talked a lot in these last 6 months, is that like, before it would be like, how are you? Good. How are you? And then on to the next. Now it's like, it's not like the kind of psycho friend at the party that's like, no, how are you? But like, that you're like, I don't actually want to get deep right now. I just want to like have fun. But people really want to hear truly how other people are, like, really, how are you? And so
Yeah.
I find that I'm actually having deeper, more meaningful connection than ever before. And some of
Mhm.
my team members are, I've just told them, like, be yourself. Like, it's okay to be unsure. And they have found deeper connection with candidates and clients also. And it was hard because we had a trip actually planned for March 26th. We do a trip every year. So we were all going to Mexico plus ones to Cabo.
Oh,
We had to move it to
oh.
October. Then we had to move it again. So now it's for next March. But just again, one of our like culture building things. But that was
Mhm.
like, hey guys, like, I remember that so clearly when I had to tell them, like, we're not going to Mexico and we're closing the office. Like, even if you want to come, you can't come. So
Oh,
we haven't
wow.
been in the office since March. Nobody has been in the office. Yeah.
Are you planning to go back, or do you have a plan to go back yet?
Well, we have a killer office. We have a
Yeah,
massage
I've been to it.
chair.
It's awesome.
I know. We have a ping pong table. We have a stand up treadmill that I never go on, but some people go on it. We have all of our values
You
all
have
over
the
the wall.
ideal office.
I love our office. And so I miss it. And we're just every month, I'm just paying for the office. So it's a little bit painful as the sole business owner, but I have hope that Seattle downtown, it's right on Fifth and Union. So of
Yeah.
course it's like, it's a terrible scene down there right now. And I
Mhm.
hope it turns around and I hope it feels more energy down there. It feels a little depressing.
Mhm.
So we're holding on to it and
Okay.
holding out hope that we get to physically be together again because we all really enjoy working together.
That's awesome. So let's talk
Yeah.
about growth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about growth. So like you've had phenomenal growth in the last few years. And I think it's so awesome that like even in an economic downturn, pandemic, world's on fire, that the business is still booming. So like when you're thinking about that, um, and building to grow and to scale, what are like the key things to keep in mind, like when you are scaling? Like what did you go for speed, or did you scale in baby steps? How did you approach
Yeah.
building your business?
We've been scaling in baby steps. When I got here and talked to a lot of other agency owners and realized how many were partnered with like Microsoft and
Hmm.
Amazon, and that they had all their eggs in like one basket or maybe two, that felt super scary to me because I
Yeah.
also heard them say, like, I've got a $20 million business and $3 to $5 million was lifted out yesterday, like in one day, because they decided to go with a different vendor. So we
Hmm.
kind of we've got a very wide range of clients.
Okay.
And because we've got a wide range of offerings, some are using us for tech, some are using us for marketing, some are using us for everything. Some use us for contract work, some use us for full-time. So we have a little bit of mitigated risk and diversity around our offerings. And so that's been nice because the foundation has been laid now to scale.
Okay.
But we've been going at it pretty slowly. So when you say massive growth, I'm like, I'm not so type A, but I'm pretty driven. I'm like, for me, I'm like, oh, we're not growing fast enough, but
Hmm.
it's been the kind of growth that I feel good about. I like to know our clients. I like to, if I bring in a client, I'll make sure to say to them, I want to hear directly from you
Hmm.
exactly the experience that you had. And I want to make sure that what we're selling is actually what we're delivering versus just like, oh, we're the greatest. I like to kind of undersell and then
And
over
over
deliver
deliver.
and have them be delighted. And so a lot of it has come through referrals and word of mouth. And now we're starting to pick up because the contract business has been growing, and that's the
Hmm.
kind of business that has a little bit more of a flywheel
Yeah.
effect. And it's nice because it's predictable income.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
full time is like we place a person, we get a check, and it's done, and then you have to do it all over again. This is
Right.
like
Right.
we need somebody for 18 to 24 months, and they're on our payroll. So it's capital intensive. Of course, it's riskier.
Right.
But it's nice to be able to anticipate that income. And so that part of the business has been growing. And so I anticipate that the business will scale pretty quickly in the next, 6 to 18 months. I think we're going to hopefully see some growth, but I don't want to grow at the expense of service. And I don't want to grow at the expense of feeling like I can ensure the personal and professional growth of the team members.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And
Oh
it might
no,
not be
that
the
sounds like
smartest.
thoughtful and strategic, because
I
I
mean,
think
I
that.
hope so. I think I could stand to be a little bit more strategic. I tend to want to just make sure that everybody's happy.
Mhm.
And the bigger you grow, the faster you grow, the riskier it is to feel like you have a handle on the business.
Mhm. Mhm.
If that makes sense, like I don't want to be too distant from the relationships.
I like it. And then that comes back to your point of intentionality. That
Well,
you have to be
yes, yes,
intentional about the
yes,
growth and intentional about how you want to grow. And I think
yes.
that I would rather have a rock solid growth that is um, measured than like that explosive growth, and it's this whole like
Yeah, we're not in that
unwieldy
zone
beast.
right now. We've got some clients that are like the flywheel's on and they're starting to like use us exclusively and they need a lot of help right now.
Hmm.
But I want to be really clear every step of the way that they're extremely happy because I'd rather have, 100 happy clients than
Hmm.
200 and like only 100 of them are happy.
And they're like, eh.
Because I just feel like that's my job is to care deeply about the team and our clients and our reputation. And if we grow too quickly, I just get worried that service could potentially slip.
I like it. So you and I have had this like long conversation about delegation. And
Yeah.
in our success bully practice, we call it the 3Ds. And I
Okay.
want to assure everyone you do not have to be superwoman. You do not
Yeah.
have to be
Tell
superwoman.
me what the 3Ds are
The
again. I
three
remember you
D's
telling me.
are do it, dump it, delegate it.
Mm.
And so when you're thinking about um, how you structure your days, how you're structuring your team, I think like we've had this amazing conversation about delegation. So tell me about your strategy when it comes to delegating.
What's funny is that I immediately go to like not imposter syndrome, but a little bit of that like, uh-oh, this is the category I'm not great at. I'm really good at delegating. Anybody on my team will say, yeah, she's great at that, which also comes with an expectation of people um, operating at a certain level. And some people on my team have said that in order to train somebody that's coming in to engage with me, to not feel like they're in trouble or that something went wrong, is that they'll just get like a yes, no, uh-huh. I don't do long process emails. I'm just a like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And I expect them to kind of read my mind of what that means. So I need the kind of people who I always hire people and I say, I work for you, not the other way around.
Hmm.
I want you to use me as a servant to you. And so you need to be confident to drive hard back because I'm not always going to be, I work really quickly. And so
Hmm.
sometimes I just give little bits of information and eventually somebody understands. And I could be better at slowing down and delegating more thoroughly. Um, but I do like to hire people who are really, really smart and give them lots of wiggle room to spread their wings and fly. So I love to delegate. The doing it is also fun. I love tasks. I
Hmm.
like to do things that I can check the box quickly. I'm not as good at slowing down and looking at process and projects that take a process. My brain just doesn't work like that, but I'm trying really hard. And I have a few people on the team that are really good at that. So they've put in place some process, some metrics, and I use that stuff to tell stories, but I'm not great at creating it.
Oh yeah. Where I think in spreadsheets. I think in
Oh,
spreadsheets to an extent. So we have trackers.
oh,
I can track anything, right? However,
yes.
I I have to watch that
Okay.
because I will get in the data
Mm.
rather than using the data,
Oh, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so like um
That
it's a
makes
different
sense.
side of the same coin where like
Yes.
yes, I am
Yes.
I can be very big picture. I can get in the process, but then I am in the process. I'm like in it,
Yeah,
like to
that
the
makes sense.
minutia, like
Yeah.
So
No, that's not me. I'm
I
very
have to watch it.
big picture, and I catch details. The things that I'm a stickler about are
Hmm.
spelling and grammar. I don't want anything going out that isn't well written. And even if I'm like Y or N, yes or no, quick, anything that's going out to anybody, it's like, I just don't want it to be sloppy.
Oh yeah, that's a reflect. I feel like that's always a reflection.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
there's a
And I
typo in
also
it,
want
it's a
there to be
reflection.
kind of a 24-hour response time.
Hmm.
And with clients, a lot of times we kind of have to train them also to have a 24-hour, because if we're dealing with a candidate who's sitting in Never Never Land, like, do they want to see me again for a second interview? I'm potentially getting an offer from another company. We try to get our clients on the same cadence so that we can have a really smooth process. So yeah, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
Oh
I'm,
no,
I'm
I
like
love it
Shauna style.
because
I'm going off into
oh
Never
no, I
Never Land.
love it because we're gonna talk about
Okay.
gummy bears in a second. Uh,
Actually, I've got malt balls in the other room. I love malt balls.
we had like a long waxing conversation about gummy bears. But before we get to that, so
Yes.
let's talk about how are you. One of the things that we're passionate about is like that ruling your time. That as
Okay.
opposed to managing your time, because that
Yes.
implies it has a choice. How do you rule your time? How are you the monarch of your time? What are some of your productivity hacks?
Well, this is another one that I'm like, uh-oh, I hope she doesn't ask me that. A productivity, I mean, first of all, I can just talk about my personal life. I really, really love to get a workout done in the morning,
Hmm.
mostly because in my mind, I'm like, the rest of the day is a wash. Like if I can say that I like worked out in the morning and I get like the adrenaline pumping and the blood flowing, I feel like that sets me up for just a better day. As far as productivity hacks, there's some people on my team who are incredible. We just talked about this last week,
Hmm.
about time blocking, and they literally carve out space on their calendar, 2 hours of this or the kind of 15 minutes and then 5 minutes. I don't have any of that dialed into my calendar. I want to be that person. Um, i i just haven't been able to create it, and
Hmm.
I've been working on it for 26 years.
Listen.
Literally. I've told you this in the beginning. I'm like, success bully, you need to beat the what out of me, because it's just my habit is to pack my schedule. So I keep it really, really packed. I have like 8 meetings already today.
Uh-huh.
But one of my hacks, I guess, is to schedule shorter time on my calendar,
Hmm.
and to let people, and to be, quick, warm, fuzzy, and into business quickly.
That is
And
a productivity hack. Come on
yeah,
now,
I mean, I don't
Shauna, give
love
yourself some
to,
credit.
yeah, I love, the last person I spoke to who was looking for a job, he's a friend. I knew I couldn't probably help him, but I wanted him to have a takeaway. So I
Hmm.
didn't want him to leave and go, well, that was just a waste of my time. So we try to, and I have the team try to make sure that there's some sort of give.
Hmm.
So because these guys are, otherwise they're going to potentially not represent the brand well by only going with things that are going to make them money. And
Right.
there's tons of people that we talk to all day, every day, that are the favor of a favor of a favor to talk to this one's friends,
Hmm.
brothers, boyfriends, sister. I mean, everybody's got someone who needs help with a resume, or help thinking through a job description, or help thinking through, should I start a new business? And so one of the people that I look at as a mentor is Robin Andrulovich, and she's incredible. She's an HR guru. And she told me, like, put these things on Thursday, those kind of nice to have
Hmm.
favors, all go on one day. And I've never been able
Yes.
to do it. I just kind of take them, and I do like a really important client meeting, and then a call with the lawyer, and then a warm fuzzy call, and then a call with the teacher. And my whole day looks like a potpourri. And it's just a whole big mess. There's not really any intentionality around how I do it. And I should probably get a little better. It works for me right now.
Well, like there's the variety piece of it, so you like to keep your mind busy. I
Yeah.
will say that time blocking is such a gift.
I
So
need
if
to
there,
start. I mean, now.
it's such a gift. Oh, you want to hear about my schedule? Oh,
Yeah.
so Mondays.
Yes.
Monday I have my own coaching that I have my own coaches that check in on Monday. That's when we do our coaching, and
Monday's a good day
then
for that.
a good day for it. We have live show. I have group coaching, so Mondays are like coaching, coach, be coach,
Okay.
coach. Tuesday and Thursday are my
Except
client
for today's
calls.
Monday. We're doing this.
Yeah, I have live show every Monday.
Oh, live show, you
And
said.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday is one-on-one client. So I have back-to-back coaching calls. So like it's like I'm coaching all day. Mama's coaching,
Okay.
coaching. Wednesday is my flex day where it's business development. It's business
Oh.
development. It is follow up. It is we have office coaching office hours, and I just started taking Fridays off.
Oh, nice. That's a big deal. Good
It's
job.
delicious.
So maybe you
Friday.
make that instead of like I take Fridays off, it's self-care.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's keto,
Mhm.
whatever that means.
Whatever it may, and sometimes it's just being in my pajamas. But yeah, like I work like a half a day on Sunday because we have our team meeting, and we kind of set the tone for the week. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been like that
So a
blocking.
lot of it is that
Yeah.
people are asking me like, hey, just got your name. We need to, like this happened this morning, just got your name. We need to hire 4 people. When are you available? And so it would be weird for me to say, how's Wednesday? I'm like, you name it, because they're a client. And
Mhm.
because it's like, we work on contingency. So it's
Mhm.
first to the finish line, how fast you get them
Yep. How
hired,
fast you can turn it
how
around.
you make the money. And so it would be weird for me to put off a client. So I try to be,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
client
my response
priority.
time to clients is
Mhm.
really quickly. I hope so, at least. And so then if I come in with a plan, it's like, oh no, Mondays are
Mhm.
whatever day. It doesn't always stick with that because clients will come in, or, uh-oh, we have a fire drill, or this
I love
candidate's
it.
getting an offer. Can you help me think through, one of my team members will call me to help them think through a deal.
That's what I call playing closest to the dollar.
Well, maybe, all right. Yeah, that's
Well, like as
actually
an
smart.
entrepreneur, and I've coached around this, and I've been yelling this in our group coaching lately, that if you are not making money consistently, if you don't make money every day, you are an eccentric hobbyist.
I love that, an
You
eccentric
know,
hobbyist.
you're a hobbyist. There's nothing wrong with being a hobbyist. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, just take some accountability around it.
The like, but own it. Be the
Yeah,
best hobbyist you can be.
I love that so much, Kita. I'm going to use that. That's actually really
Play it
funny.
closest to the dollar. What's the and I do this hand gesture all the time. What's the shortest distance between you and the cash?
I like that. Yeah,
So yeah, if it comes in hot and it's like we need a proposal, we need this. Yeah, okay, my whole time blocking out the
out
window.
the door. Yeah. So I'm going to try the time blocking, and then I'll use that. I'll picture your fingers being like closest to the dot. Yeah. It's just what I need to do is not say, okay, this friend's, son's girlfriend is moving to New York and she wants to help, do networking with you. Can you talk to her? I treat everything with total urgency. I'm like, yes, how's right now? I just have this, like, I need to please everybody thing. And so you're right. I need to just go, how's next Thursday?
We have office hours for that.
Yes. I think that's really smart. That's how it should be.
Yeah, we
Imagine next
actually
year I
have a
have my
standing
best year
office
ever. I'll be like, I owe that to the fingers. I owe that to Kita. It's true though. That's one of my weak spots, I think. I look at it as like it's a weakness and a strength because I get a
hours.
lot done in a day,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's
I've
not.
I've received the short emails from you. I'm like, Shauna's on it.
Yeah, I don't really drop balls. I mean, sometimes I do, but not so much.
Like when I get my short Shauna email, I'm like, we've talked about this. But that I think that that's also a productivity thing, and I want to like acknowledge you for that because sometimes I think emails can get so verbose
Yeah.
that like you lose the point of the email,
Yeah.
and then it just sits in your inbox because the action is unclear, and then no one
Yeah.
takes action. So like,
I definitely have the bias toward action. I'm on the board. I was on a board for this organization that was like trying to get more members and trying to get more engagement. And I came in and I was like, just like while I'm sitting here, I just sent 17 texts. Like, it's not that big a deal. Just like, hey, what's up? Want to talk to you about this organization. Where they had people that were like, I wrote it out, then I edited it, then I wrote it out again, then I edited it again. And then I never sent it because I got fear around how it would be received. I'm like, oh my God, that drives me crazy. There's a place for those people. And they work well probably with me because they can slow down and read the document. Um, I sometimes am like, see half of it and they're like, you never answered my question. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't read this below the
well,
fold.
you should have got pulled that to the top.
Yeah. So there's strengths and weaknesses around all these ways of doing things.
So lightning round.
Uh-oh.
Another thing that we are big on is that
Okay.
leaders are readers. So what are you reading?
Oh, okay. So I don't really read a lot of business books, although someone on my team a lot of people on my team are voracious readers and recommend them. And so we have a business book club, and
Mhm.
every now and then I show up. But I just finished Untamed, and I know it's so cliche because everyone's
Mhm.
reading it, but I just thought it was awesome. Glennon
Okay.
Doyle, and I think she's an incredible writer, and I loved that book. I've been like telling everybody to read it.
Awesome. So then, what's the advice you would give your younger self? This is the lightning round. It's questions about nothing.
I
What
would
advice would you give your younger
say,
self?
um, they always say like as you get older, I still have the disease to please, the need to please, but
Hmm.
it's getting less and less as I get older, I guess, or I'm feeling more confident. And I think I thought I was confident back then, but I would probably let relationships in my life longer than I needed to.
Hmm.
I have a lot of people in my life, a lot of friends, and a lot of beautiful relationships that I feel really lucky to have. But the ones that don't work, I try to make work and fix. And so I would probably say to move those along faster.
Yeah, my advice to my younger self, like if I had a magical time machine, I could go back to me in my early 20s. I probably wouldn't listen to myself because, I was in my 20s. But it would be like, trust your wings.
Yes.
Trust your wings. Like,
Yeah.
I think I spent a lot of time trying to check the boxes, trying to
Mm.
do what I was told, and like, oh yeah, you go to a good college, you get your good degree,
But
you
you
get
look
your
at it, did something for you. That's
yeah, well, you
great.
get your corporate job. But I was always scared to be an entrepreneur, to put my
Mm.
own thoughts out there, and then like I said, successfully as a joke 3.5 years ago, and
I
here we
remember.
are.
Here we are. Ironically, I was going to say that answer, but it's actually not true for me because my whole career has been risk taking. I've been taking
Hmm.
risks. I moved to cities not knowing, moved to San Francisco not knowing anyone, moved to New York not knowing anyone, opened offices, 100% commission, started my own company, bootstrapped it. Like there have been a lot of risk
Hmm.
taking in my professional life. My personal life, I think I was a little bit more keep it safe, keep all the friends around,
Hmm.
make sure that everybody else is happy. So that's probably a little bit more what I'm working through.
I like it. Thank you for
Yeah,
thank you for being so honest and vulnerable. I just adore you. Okay, last thing.
thanks.
Last thing.
I
Last
adore
thing.
you too.
I'm checking the comments to make sure no one has any questions. Okay.
Oh,
Last question. What are some of your tips for those folks who are job hunting right now, who are in the market during an economic decline, a pandemic, and all 2020? I don't even
yeah,
need to like lay it
2020.
all out. What's your advice for them?
I think that looking for a job is a full-time job
Hmm.
and to set intentionality around the action of talking to as many people as you can, putting it on your LinkedIn that you're open to new opportunities, realizing that you're sitting on, like, go into biz dev mode. You're
Hmm.
sitting on probably a big network. And if you're not, like, make that a job.
Okay.
There's no events to go to right now. So it's just reaching out. I think especially in this market, not this market like this timing, but this market, this Seattle market,
Hmm.
people are very generous with
Oh,
helping.
absolutely.
And it's a community. And I think especially right now, people want to lift each other up. So it's joining different groups, it's being vulnerable, putting yourself out there. But if it's not like I need a job because I can't pay the bills, and it's I need a job because it's my career and I'm slowing down to really think about my next move, for those people who are in different positions and positions of luxury to be driven by passion and not so much like I need to make money, those people I always tell to kind of write down your drivers. Like, what are you most
Mm.
driven by right now? What's going to fulfill you? And and then work backwards from there. And then I also tell people, if you're not getting married, just go on a date. An interview is just a date. Just go on that first date. So candidates that are like, I don't know, I was thinking about this. I place people all the time in jobs that they're beyond delighted in, that they were maybe hesitant to go on the interview. And the same thing with the clients. Like, I don't know about that candidate. And if I believe in someone and something, I'll push. And I'll say, treat it like it's just coffee. You don't have to
Okay.
say like we're gonna go for dinner. Let's just like I'll
Let's have
manage
coffee.
expectations on both ends, that you're just gonna have a coffee and feel it out and see if there's chemistry. And then, because not all things have to be this formal like loop, like an Amazon interview loop. It could just
The
be,
star
hey,
method.
right. It could just be like, let's have a 20-minute conversation and see if I believe in the product and what you're building. And let's see if there's chemistry in the culture. And then I also tell people to think about culture.
Hmm.
and to realize how important that is and not to be dismissive of that and do some back channel references.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shauna. Thank you for joining us. I don't see any other questions in the
All
chat.
the kisses.
Thank you
Oh, this is fun.
all for watching. So thank you for having us. Hang on the line. I'm gonna do my closing, but hang on, because we're gonna debrief really quickly.
Oh, I can't wait.
Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for watching the replay. I am Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice. So I am your personal professional butt kicker. And once again, I want to remind you to sign up for the 5 days of focus challenge, which starts on October 12th. It is going to be 5 days of goal setting and transformation. There'll be surprises. There will be prizes. There will be butt kicking galore. So if you haven't signed up, go to successbully.com/challenge and sign up. If your first name begins with the letters A through K, Monica is your concierge. And if your first name begins with letters L through Z, then Maggie is your concierge. And we can't wait to see you back here in the 5 days of focus. All right, y'all, let's get after it.